Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Box Office Talk. This is the show where I break down what happened at the box office, see if my predictions for the top five are correct, and then make predictions for next week's top five. So let's get right on into it. Last week I predicted that number one would be Smurfs, The Lost Village. Number two would be The Boss Baby. Number three would be Beauty and the Beast. Number four would be Ghost in the Shell. And number five would be Going in Style. And I got a big fat 0 out of 5 of my predictions right this weekend. Who would have thought? I got all the 5 movies right, but the order, not at all. So let's go over what happened. Number one is surprisingly still The Boss Baby. I didn't think this movie would be able to stick at number one, but apparently it did. It made $26 million this weekend. That adds to a domestic total of $89 million. And on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $199 million. So it only needs about $51 million more to double its budget and be considered a success. That is honestly very surprising. I didn't think that this movie would be as big as it was. It would be like telling me that Nine Lives was going to be a huge thing. But since it is an animated movie and it is DreamWorks and people recognize that label, I mean, it's not that big of a surprise. I'm not really that upset about movies that I wasn't personally looking forward to or wanting to see getting number one or making a lot of money anymore, because that's just how it's going to play out. It's aiming at a certain audience. For this movie, it's kids. So of course it's going to make this much money. What really is saddening, though, that this movie technically has made more than Kubo and the Two Strings. Think about that for a minute. At number two, though, moving on, is Beauty and the Beast. This weekend it made $25 million, and that adds to a domestic total of $432 million. And on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $977 million. It is only $23 million away from getting to $1 billion worldwide. Now, this is a movie that I can really get behind as far as being proud of it, making so much money. I haven't seen The Boss Baby, so I can't say congratulations or that I hate it. But Beauty and the Beast, I love this movie, and I'm so glad that it's making so much. This is the kind of movie that kids and families should be going out to see. Number three is a movie that I did not expect to make as low as it did, but it did. And it's Smurfs, The Lost Village. And Smurfs 2 opened with $17 million on its opening weekend. This movie only made $14 million on its opening weekend. But if you look at the worldwide chart, it's at $56 million right now, so it's not a bad kind of start. It's only on a budget of $60 million, which is a lot less than the live action movies. But still, I'm honestly very surprised that this movie didn't grab kids' attention like the frickin' Boss Baby did. Like, that honestly really does surprise me. But I'm hearing not too good things about the Smurfs anyway, so who frickin' cares? Moving on to number four, which is Going in Style. This movie actually made a little bit more than I thought it would. It made $12 million this weekend, and this is only on a budget of $25 million, and technically it needs to get to like $50 million to be considered a success, but it still is doing okay as far as like old people movies go. I guess that's a genre, like basically where old actors get together and do silly stuff and mainly old people go to the theater to see it. I mean, I have no interest in seeing it, but at least it's doing all right. It's like 2 million behind Smurfs, so that's gotta be something. And at least it's doing better than number 5 right now, which is Ghost in the Shell. It's actually not as big as a flop as you might think, but it is still kind of flopping right now. It only made $7 million on this weekend. That adds to a domestic total of $31 million. And on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $124 million. Now, this has succeeded its budget of $110 million, but in order to be considered a success, it needs to double that budget. It needs to get to around $220. And it's only $96 million away from doing that. Maybe it will, or maybe it won't. We'll just have to see in the next coming weeks. It'll definitely be here next week. There's not much that'll push it out, but it might not make as much money, so we'll have to see how that goes. At number 6, we have Power Rangers, which made $6 million. That adds to a total of $75 million, and this is on a worldwide number of $108 million. It's only $92 million away from doubling its $100 million budget, and it'll probably have to do that before they start making any more Power Rangers sequels. But if you really think about it, how much of a demand will there be for another Power Rangers movie after this one if it's not making as much money? Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at least opened with around 60 million and got over almost 200 million domestically, and I don't even know how much it made worldwide. And at least the Transformers movies constantly make around 100 million on their opening weekend. Power Rangers is really low, so I don't know I don't know how many executives are really trying to push this Power Rangers franchise after the box office results, but We'll just have to see in the coming future. I know it's going to open in Japan this summer, so that might oomph it up a little bit, but who knows? At number 7, we have Kong Skull Island, which made $5 million this weekend. That adds to a domestic total of $156 million, and on the worldwide chart, it finally succeeded the $500 million margin, $534 million. Now, the director actually tweeted about it saying, "Thank you so much for getting us past 500 million." So I'm assuming that means that the 500 million margin being the break-even point was correct, and they actually are considering Kong Skull Island a success now. So at least that's pretty good. It's still not as big as Godzilla domestically, but even Godzilla wasn't really that huge if you look back on it. It opened strong, but it got really, low numbers afterwards. Kind of the same with Kong Skull Island, but it opened a lot lower than Godzilla. But it's still doing really well, even though I thought it was just okay. At least those Godzilla sequels and the Godzilla vs. Kong movie is safe and not in jeopardy anymore. At number 8, we have Logan, which made $4.05 million on this weekend, and it adds to a domestic total of $218 million. And on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $596 million. It's $4 million away from getting to $600 million worldwide, and I'm pretty sure it'll be here next week, and it'll surpass that. I'm honestly so happy for this film. It's finishing out strong for Hugh Jackman. I'm so happy with this. At number 9, we also have Get Out, made $4.02 million. That adds to a domestic total of $162, and on the worldwide chart, it is at $176 million. So that is also a very good, strong way to exit the top 10 for Jordan Peele. I think Get Out will actually stick around the number 10 area next week, because there's only one big movie coming out next weekend that could push all these down. There's not really much, though, so I think Get Out will be here one last time next weekend, and that'll be it. But finally, at number 10, we have The Case for Christ, one of those Pure Flix movies. Made $3 million on an unknown budget because I couldn't find it on Box Office Mojo or Wikipedia. Good job, Pure Flix. Now it's time for the fun part, the predictions for next week's top 5, and this might be really easy, so let's just get this over with. Number 1, I'm going to predict It's Fate of the Furious. Number 2 will be The Boss Baby. Number 3 will be Beauty and the Beast. Number 4 will be Smurfs, The Lost Village, and number 5 will be Going in Style. But what are your predictions for next week's top 5? Leave it in the comments below, and if you got your predictions right for this week, you're going to get a shout out right now. Unless you didn't get it right then, I'm sorry. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.